Hello everybody, welcome back to the Toaster Revenue channel. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and today we are going to be doing the Erudition only challenge in Honkai Star Rail. Now, of course, since this is a challenge, I will have some rules set for myself. And the rules go as follows. I am only allowed to use characters under the Erudition path. Trial characters are allowed under these circumstances. I cannot use Erudition characters or do not have any at the current moment. And rule number 3, this account will be free to play, so we will not be spending any money on the game. Basically, the part of this game we are at right now is the tutorial phase, where you get 2 characters, and then the actual game will start. And I'm just going to be speeding up a majority of this because it's not really important for our run. And now, with the initial tutorial phase of the game being over, we can now finally start the actual game, in which we now get to pick our Trailblazer, and we are going to pick the male one, and we are going to be under the name of Splash, because that's pretty much the Erudition path. It focuses a lot on like area control and like splash damage, so I think it's a pretty fitting name for our Trailblazer. With that out of the way, we now verify our new identity under the name of Splash, as our Trailblazer has a stellar run pushed into their body, in which we will then be waking up on the space station to meet our 2 new friends, March and Don Hung.
Weak heartbeat and pulse. March, you better do CPR.
After that save from March, we then meet these 2 and get a very brief dialogue section where we get a small introduction, and then Don Hung completely fucking leaves us, and then it's just me and March now. With that mess out of the way, we now get an introduction to the character tab. The tutorial briefly describes your characters and their path and what element they are a part of, and then after that we then continue forward, advancing our story forward. Turning this corner, I noticed there is an enemy here with an objective label, so this is a mandatory fight that we have to do, so sadly we can't skip by it. And just to quickly mention, at our current state of the game, there's absolutely no way for me to obtain a character of the Erudition path, so we have to use the characters we have now for the time being. With that mandatory fight now out of the way, I continue pushing our story forward. And now the same problem from last time has occurred again. An enemy has an objective label, so we have to take another fight with our team. After completing that minute-long fight, we are continuing once again. After that short dialogue sequence, Don Hung is finally back to us and is now a playable character that the tutorial prompts open our party setup menu and wants us to put Don Hung into our active party. The tutorial then prompts us to open our character menu, go to our Don Hung, and level him up, which I don't even know why it does that, because I won't be using Don Hung later on, because Don Hung is not an Erudition character. The game then brings up another objective, which is labeled to another enemy, which means we have to do another mandatory fight. After the fight is over, we get a random achievement, and then we are going to continue onwards with our story. After that sequence of dialogue, the game then prompts a new feature that is available to us, which is character traces, which we then have to put materials into for another character I will not be using in the future. Continuing on with the objective, I noticed there is no longer an objective placement on enemies, so we don't have any more mandatory fights up until a different point in the story. So for this part, I pretty much just run by all the enemies since fighting them is not mandatory, and avoiding the fights will not do anything bad to our run.
No.
And yet again, we run into another sequence that the tutorial prompts us to go into our character's selection screen, go to our Trailblazer and equip him with a light cone that will not be very helpful later on because our Trailblazer is a destruction character. With that out of the way, the next part of the story is actually very important for us because it will unlock us a trial character. With that extremely long fight finally finished up, we are now going to be introduced to our brand new character.
Hey, sore losers! You can't just gang up on us! Anyway, at least you're back.
After some very exciting dialogue, we now have Himiko, our trial character, joining the party. Now, in Honkai Star Rail, there actually is a way that we can get another Erudition character very early on, and that's using the mail feature. After playing the game for a certain amount of time, you will receive a gift in your mailbox that allows you to claim a new character, as well as some wishes that you can use on a banner. But sadly, we don't have access to that quite yet because we are a bit behind in our story, so let's keep going. After that short interaction, we now unlock the greatest feature in this game, gambling. The tutorial then very generously gives us one free wish, which we are to use on the Stellar Warp banner. We do our wish, and we receive none other than Asta. But the only problem is that Asta is not an Erudition character. After a quick speedrun of our objective, we then have access to the travel log. And in our travel log, we have access to character trials, which we can get XP and Jades from, a gift of Odyssey, which is pretty much just a login event, so we'll get free wishes every day we log in, Trailblazing Will, which will give us free wishes for the standard banner, Starkiss Synchrony, which actually can get us another Erudition character, Herta, from that area. And then finally, Turquoise's Reverie, which can get us another Erudition character, Qingque. And so with all that in mind, we actually have a lot to look forward to in our Erudition only run.
Take the express and leave. I'll stay. But... Let's go.
Hello, Editing Toaster here. Just a quick side note, I had unknowingly ended my recording, so I lost a little bit of footage. It's a very minor amount of footage though, so it's hardly impactful on the video, but yeah, sorry for the inconvenience, guys. Continuing onwards with our run, I am actually now able to remove all other members from the party, so it can be just our Erudition character. And sadly, here in this fight, the enemy had survived with just a small amount of health and we had lost the fight. And During recording the video, this is the part when I felt a little bit stuck, because as you know, since Himiko is a trial character, we are not able to level her up or enhance her light cone. Opening my phone and seeing that small mark on my inbox, I had felt absolutely blessed, because I knew that it was the level rewards for the pre-registration and follower rewards. So now I am able to get another Erudition character added to my team so I can have a better chance of beating that enemy. And now since Serval is in my party, I go to the character's detail tab, and I go to Serval, and I level her up just barely with the small amount of resources I have. And sadly, I am not at a stage where I'm able to earn a light cone for her, so it's a bit of a disadvantage at the moment. After getting Serval into my team, I now re-enter the fight, but I learned something absolutely huge. I'm not strong enough yet to beat it. After that absolutely pathetic attempt of trying to beat the enemies, I tried thinking of a plan. What I had planned to do was I was going to go into battle, fight until I had almost enough energy for my ultimate on Himiko, and then retreat from the battle. And I learned something that had completely ruined that plan for me. After retreating from the battle, your character's energy is completely reset, so that plan was completely out of the window. Now knowing that information, I decided to check if I had the redemption code feature yet, in which thankfully I did. So I redeemed the permanent code Star Rail gift, and in this code, it will give you 2 of these high level up value rewards, in which I had used them on Serval to get her level up to a significantly higher level. However, I still felt like this wasn't enough, and I decided to speedrun some character trials to get some XP reward. After leveling up Serval and giving her some slight stat boost increases, I gooed the fight again. Despite my Himiko going down in the middle of the fight, my Serval was still extremely healthy and still had lots of HP, and she was very close to her ultimate, in which after the 2 enemies had attacked her, I had used the ultimate and won the fight.
The best is yet to come.
After avoiding all of those other enemies, we now move on to the final part of the space station story.
The Doomsday Beast. It's really here.
Get down here! Careful, everyone!
Despite our great effort, our Himiko did not have enough health at the end to survive the Doomsday Beast's attack, and we had suffered our first defeat of many in this fight. After some quick thought, I came to the conclusion that my Serval is in desperate need of a light cone, in which I had went to my departure warp banner and had used some 10 pulls, and surely enough I had received a light cone, which I had gotten to the max level that I could possibly get it to, and we went back to fighting the Doomsday Beast once again. After Serval's attack failed to kill off the Doomsday Beast's final core, I thought we were totally done for. But Serval had miraculously survived with 29 HP left, which was just enough for me to get the final hit on the Doomsday Beast, bringing it down for good.
Ready to lose yourself? Fight it or rock with it. My music. Conquer us all!
And with that ultimate and Serval getting stuck in place, we had brought down the Doomsday Beast. After absolutely mashing spacebar through March's dialogue, we then go to find Himiko to get us introduced to Herta. Now, in the space station, Herta has this thing called the Simulated Universe, which, upon completion for the very first time, will give us a copy of her character. And she is important because she's also an Erudition character, so she can be on our team. And that is exactly why we are about to go do that right now. After some very necessary dialogue, we now have access to the very first mission of the Simulated Universe, which is quite easy. All we have to do is defeat hordes of enemies, and after doing that, we will be rewarded with a Herta upon completion. A condition for the very first level of Simulated Universe is that you will be given a full team of trial characters, and as stated by Rule 2, trial characters are allowed under the circumstance I cannot use any Erudition characters. So this still counts for the run. With that out of the way, let's speed run through all these enemies. And after skipping through some dialogue, we now receive our very own copy of Herta, who as an Erudition character will be going straight into our team. After leveling up Herta and her light cone, we then go to our page and claim 10 free wishes, and we go straight to the departure warp to see if I can get lucky and receive my 5-star character. With our absolutely amazing luck, we managed to receive 2 more Servals. Now what that means for us is Serval is going to be at E2, so she is going to be even stronger now. After a quick level up session with our light cones on our 2 Erudition characters, I quickly head out and proceed to our next objective.
So, have you thought things through? Then come with me.
The way to celebrate.
Let's go.
I'll be waiting
Time to get on.
till we make it. Oh, we will see.
I'm over here.
Come with me, take the journey.
After that quick talk with Himiko and short cutscene, we are now joining the Astral Express crew. Now being part of the crew, we receive our Inter-Astral Peace Guide, which will allow us to get some rewards over time that could be pretty helpful in the future. After claiming some more rewards, we now have our profile set up with Serval and Herta as our 2 current characters. And with all that out of the way, guys, that is going to be the end of our first part of the Erudition only challenge in Honkai Star Rail. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the next one, and I'll see you next time.